Oh, I lost everything.
Tiffany Haddish's name used to light up the room. The funny, confident, always real queen of comedy who rose from sleeping in her car to standing on some of the biggest stages in Hollywood. But fast forward to now, and that same name is being whispered in every corner of the industry for all the wrong reasons. Because after everything that's gone down, from lawsuits to leaked videos to her latest TMZ breakdown, Tiffany might have just lost everything she worked her whole life for. And what's worse, the industry that once crowned her a star might have already moved on.
Because it's behind you now, but like, is that something?
Oh,
that
I
you're
lost
worried about?
everything.
Like,
All my gigs gone.
Really?
Everything gone.
I mean, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is that's a bad look. But now that they changed face, you know,
I
do you
don't
feel
know,
like
bro.
you regain your,
I don't have no job.
It all started when TMZ caught up with her outside an event just days ago, asking the question everyone's been thinking. Had she bounced back from the scandals? Tiffany laughed. Not her usual contagious laugh, but that uneasy, hollow kind. All my gigs gone, she said. Everything gone. The reporter looked shocked, like he couldn't believe what he just heard. And Tiffany, almost in disbelief herself, added, I love everything. Thank you. All my gigs gone. That moment hit like a gut punch, because it confirmed what fans had quietly suspected for months. Hollywood turned its back on Tiffany Haddish. But let's rewind a little, because this fall didn't come out of nowhere. It all traces back to last year, when Tiffany was named in one of the most disturbing lawsuits Hollywood had seen in years. She and fellow comedian Aries Spears were accused of crossing the line in a series of alleged comedy skits involving minors. The claims were shocking. Fans who had once seen Tiffany as the woman who could do no wrong suddenly found themselves questioning everything. According to the lawsuit, the young woman, referred to as Jane Doe, claimed Tiffany and Aries pressured her and her younger brother into filming scenes that were wildly inappropriate. At the time, Tiffany was already a rising Hollywood favorite, loved for her unfiltered honesty and her hustle-from-the-bottom success story. But the lawsuit painted her in a completely different light. Jane Doe's story detailed how Tiffany met their mother years ago, bonding over being single moms. The trust built between them was strong, so strong that when Tiffany offered to help Jane and her brother break into acting, their mom didn't hesitate. She believed Tiffany would guide her kids like a big sister figure. Instead, things went left fast. Jane recalled how Tiffany invited her to a so-called comedy shoot when she was just 14. Nobody told her what it was about. No script, no idea what she'd be doing. But since it was Tiffany, her mom trusted the process. Only, when Jane arrived, the set turned out to be something she could never unsee. She was asked to mimic another group of older girls on camera who were acting out a skit with a sandwich. In ways that had nothing to do with humor, Tiffany allegedly demonstrated what to do, using sounds and gestures that left Jane frozen in shock. When she couldn't go through with it, Tiffany gave her $100 and sent her home. But the story didn't end there. Soon after, Tiffany called again, this time saying she had landed Jane's younger brother a part in what she described as a Nickelodeon-style reel. The mom agreed, thinking it was an amazing opportunity. But when the video finally surfaced, it was nowhere near Nickelodeon. It was uploaded to the site Funny or Die, entitled The Mind of a... and it was deeply disturbing. In the clip, Aries Spears played a predatory character, while the young boy was filmed in his underwear in multiple scenes. It was the kind of content that had no place in any so-called comedy sketch. The outrage was immediate. Funny or Die even issued a public statement calling the video absolutely disgusting, insisting they had no involvement in producing or approving it, and that it had been removed as soon as they were made aware of its existence. At that point, Tiffany's reputation started to crumble. The lawsuit and video caused massive outrage. Fans who had adored her for her authenticity began calling her out for hypocrisy. The woman who had built her career on empowering women and staying real was now being accused of something unthinkable. Tiffany's first reaction didn't help either. Her team released a defensive statement calling the lawsuit bogus, accusing the plaintiff's mother of trying to shake her down for years. The backlash was immediate. People accused Tiffany of victim blaming, of being arrogant, of refusing to take accountability. The internet dragged her so hard that within 48 hours, she was forced to backtrack with a more personal apology. While this sketch was intended to be comedic, it wasn't funny at all, she wrote. I deeply regret having agreed to act in it. But for many, the damage was already done. Even though the lawsuit was later dropped, reportedly after an undisclosed settlement, Tiffany's public image never recovered. To some, it looked like a classic case of hush money. To others, it just confirmed guilt. And in Hollywood, image is everything. One day you're hosting award shows and starring in hit movies, the next day your calls start going unanswered. And in the months that followed, Tiffany tried to make a comeback. She popped up at a few comedy clubs, did an interview or two, and even hinted at new projects. But something had changed. Studios went silent, invitations dried up. Casting directors quietly pulled her name off shortlists. The offers that once flooded in every week suddenly disappeared. Then came the breaking point. when it was announced she'd be reprising her role in Girls Trip 2. What should have been her big comeback moment turned into another PR nightmare. Fans flooded the internet with petitions demanding her removal from the sequel. Social media lit up with comments like, "We don't want Tiffany in this movie," and "Keep her away from any roles that put her around kids." The backlash got so bad that the production team went quiet for months. So when TMZ caught up with her and asked how she was holding up, that's why her answer hit so hard. "All my gigs gone," she said flatly. Not a single smile, no punchline, no comeback energy. Just a woman standing on the side of the street admitting that everything she worked for might really be over. But here's the thing. Hollywood has a short memory when it comes to money, not morals. Some insiders claim Tiffany's team has been working overtime behind the scenes to rebuild her image before Girls Trip 2 drops. The plan? Damage control. Charity events, quiet interviews, emotional honesty. But fans aren't buying it. Comments across social media are brutal. People saying she got what she deserved, that you don't mess with kids, and that she canceled herself. Still, there's one thing nobody can deny. Tiffany's not the type to go out quietly. She's been through hell before, from homelessness to heartbreak, and she's always found a way to laugh through it. But this time, this might be her toughest comeback yet, because it's not just about bad press anymore. It's about whether Hollywood and the public are even willing to forgive her at all. It's wild to think that just a few years ago, Tiffany Haddish was Hollywood's golden girl, the breakout star who went from "nobody believed in me" to "I hosted the Oscars after party." She was the face of resilience, the living proof that you could laugh your way out of pain and build an empire from it. But now, that glow has faded. Her name, once synonymous with energy and laughter, has turned into something studios whisper about in boardrooms, wondering if hiring her is worth the backlash. After that TMZ clip went viral, where Tiffany openly admitted that all her gigs were gone, fans started connecting the dots. Every upcoming role she was rumored to have quietly disappeared from listings. Talk show bookings evaporated. Projects she'd been attached to for years suddenly changed direction. Even her stand-up show started selling slower. It wasn't that audiences didn't think she was funny anymore. It's that the room went cold the moment her name came up. The industry had quietly blacklisted her, and Tiffany knew it. People who've worked with her before say the fallout was swift and silent. One producer allegedly said that every time her name came up in casting discussions, executives would say, "She's too risky right now." The phrase "bad optics" started floating around. It didn't matter that she'd built her whole career from scratch. In Hollywood, once your name is tied to controversy involving kids, that's a stain that never really fades. And Tiffany's own words didn't help. Back when the scandal broke, she tried to keep a brave face, saying the lawsuit wouldn't break her. But the lawsuit didn't need to break her. The court of public opinion already had Twitter threads and Reddit forums tore her apart. Some fans swore they'd never support her again. Others said they were heartbroken because Tiffany was supposed to be the real one, the comedian who never let fame change her. But the worst part for Tiffany wasn't just the public's reaction. It was watching people she once called friends start to distance themselves. Comedians she'd come up with, co-stars she once shared champagne with. Suddenly, they were quiet. Nobody was defending her. Nobody was inviting her out. The Hollywood silence was deafening. Behind the scenes, sources say Tiffany tried to fix things. She reached out to certain executives, sent apologies, asked for meetings to explain her side. But Hollywood isn't built on apologies. It's built on image. Once sponsors pull out and agents start dodging your calls, it's nearly impossible to rebuild momentum. And then came the rumors about her finances. Paparazzi started catching Tiffany looking stressed, not her usual playful self. She wasn't showing up in designer outfits anymore. One insider claimed she'd been forced to sell one of her investment properties in LA because the money had stopped coming in. Another said that Tiffany had started doing smaller comedy club gigs again, not for fun, but because she needed to keep the lights on. And that's what makes her TMZ interview hit even harder. That wasn't a press run or a staged statement. It was raw truth slipping out. "All my gigs gone." You could hear the fatigue in her voice. No PR polish, no jokes, just reality. Still, some people believe Tiffany's downfall is a mix of bad timing and bad judgment. Hollywood's going through a cultural shift where the lines of accountability are sharper than ever. Jokes that once got a pass now get dragged. The same shock comedy that used to make audiences howl is now being labeled disturbing. And Tiffany's entire style, edgy, unfiltered, unbothered, suddenly became the kind of thing the industry doesn't want to touch. But it wasn't just the scandal. The way Tiffany handled it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. At first, she denied everything. Then she downplayed it. Then she tried to move on like nothing happened. There was no real moment of accountability, no honest sit-down interview where she took responsibility or explained herself. That's the thing about Hollywood. It loves a redemption arc, but only if you play the part right. And Tiffany, in trying to save face, may have skipped the one step that could have saved her career. humility. Even so, her situation is complicated. Some fans are calling it unfair, pointing out that plenty of male comedians and actors have done far worse and still got work. They say Tiffany's being punished more harshly because she's a black woman who doesn't have the same safety net or PR machine as her male peers. And they might be right. Hollywood has always had a double standard. The same studios that turned their backs on Tiffany still hand out million-dollar deals to people with messy pasts. Still, others argue that Tiffany's charm was her rawness, that unfiltered, I'll say what everyone's thinking kind of humor. But when that same rawness crosses the line into something people find disturbing, the public flips on you overnight. In the middle of all this, Tiffany's still trying to stay positive. On Instagram, she posts motivational quotes, clips from old comedy sets, photos from charity events, like she's reminding the world she's still that same goofy, loving soul. But behind that smile, you can feel the pressure Hollywood isn't calling. And she knows that silence too well. Even Girls Trip 2, the project that could have been her comeback, has become a minefield. While her co-stars are quietly preparing for production, Tiffany's spot in the lineup is still uncertain. Fans online are calling for her role to be recast, and insiders claim the studio is reevaluating the optics before officially moving forward. It's tragic in a way, because Tiffany didn't just lose gigs, she lost the narrative. Every joke she makes now gets dissected. Every public appearance turns into a headline about her downfall. It's not about her comedy anymore, it's about her controversy. But that's the cruel part of Hollywood. One day, you're everyone's favorite funny girl, and the next day, you're a walking PR risk. No middle ground, no time to breathe. Just silence, whispers, and the sound of doors closing that once opened automatically. For Tiffany, the question now isn't just whether she'll work again, it's whether people will ever laugh with her again. Because when your name becomes the punchline, it's a long road back to being the one who tells the jokes. The days when Tiffany Haddish could walk onto a red carpet and instantly light it up feel like a lifetime ago. Now, every time her name trends, it's not about a new movie or comedy special. It's about what she lost, what she said, or what she's trying to recover. And lately, that recovery is looking like a one-woman war against silence, shame, and a Hollywood system that's pretending she doesn't exist. People close to Tiffany say the last few months have been rough. The phone doesn't ring like it used to. The invites stopped. The same talk show hosts who once couldn't get enough of her realness now suddenly have scheduling conflicts. Behind the upbeat Instagram posts and the stay positive captions, the truth is she's been struggling to keep her career alive. That TMZ moment, where she admitted all her gigs were gone, wasn't a breakdown, it was a confession. A moment when the mask slipped and you could see a woman who realized the industry had moved on without her. Hollywood has always loved a rise and fall story. They build you up, feed off your light, then vanish when your name becomes too risky to mention. Tiffany learned that the hard way. After the lawsuit, the scandal, and the uncomfortable headlines, her team tried to get her booked again. They pushed for guest roles, endorsements, a new comedy tour. But every time there was a quiet no. It wasn't official. There was no formal blacklisting memo. But every door she knocked on seemed to lead to the same empty hallway. And now, for the first time, Tiffany's admitting how bad it's gotten. She's been telling friends she's fighting for her name, that she still believes there's a way back, but the system feels rigged. The woman who once said she could laugh through anything is realizing that not everything can be turned into a punchline. Fans have mixed feelings. Some say she deserves another chance, that she took accountability, that people make mistakes, and that she's being punished harder than many men in the same situation. Others are firm. You don't mess with kids, period. Social media has been brutal. Every attempt Tiffany makes to move forward, a charity event, a podcast appearance, even just stepping out, gets flooded with comments reminding her of her past. The internet never forgets. Still, you can't count Tiffany out completely. If there's one thing she's always had, it's fight. Insiders say she's planning a full-on redemption push before Girls Trip 2 releases. Interviews, podcasts, smaller comedy sets, and a tell-all sit-down to finally clear the air. She's hoping honesty will do what PR couldn't. Remind people she's human. Because whether the world forgives her or not, Tiffany's not ready to fade into obscurity. But it's clear she's walking a fine line. Every move she makes will decide if she gets her career back or becomes another cautionary tale in Hollywood's endless machine of fame and fallout. Her fans are watching. Her critics are watching. The entire industry is waiting to see if she'll rise again or if this really is the end of the Tiffany Haddish era. What's undeniable is that Tiffany's story isn't just about scandal. It's about what happens when the same industry that made you famous decides you're no longer worth saving. She climbed her way out of poverty, homelessness, and heartbreak before. But this time, She's not just fighting for success. She's fighting for forgiveness. Whether she earns it or not, that's up to time and the audience that once cheered for her every joke. So what do you think? Can Tiffany make a comeback after losing it all? Or is Hollywood done with her for good? Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.